YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I'm back in Total War Warhammer. We're gonna take a look at some of the new units that the Greenskins have access to. Let's start off with Skarsnik, and we'll just kind of talk through a few of these. What happened to the music? Come on, Warhammer. Alright, there we go. Yeah, let's start off with Skarsnik and just kind of compare him. So let's grab an Orc War Boss. Or actually, I can't put the two of them together. Alright, whatever. So I got Skarsnik. I'm going to mouse over the Orc War Boss. So let me make sure I'm reading this right. It's 3015 is the War Boss. Okay, yeah. Alright. So let's pick the War Boss and then mouse over Skarsnik. So we're comparing Skarsnik to the War Boss. So Skarsnik has 795 more. Well, first let's compare the characteristics. Sorry, my bad. So armored and shielded for a war boss. Now Skarsnik is a legendary lord. He's armored and shielded, anti-large, and has melee expert, and has poison attacks. So that is very interesting that he gets an anti-large. Let's pick him real quick and see if we can actually see that. There's his poison. Defense, weapon strength. Wow, he's got a 30 bonus versus large. That is not bad at all. So yeah, Skarsnik is going to have some pretty good stats when it comes to taking down maybe mounted lords and stuff. Now, he himself doesn't really have a mount. I think that items, let's see what he has. Skarsnik's Prodder. I want to say that there should be like... There's no mount for him, so he must just come with a Goblin whenever he comes in this one, and maybe it's something you unlock in the campaign. I don't know. I need to check into that more. By the time that you see this, I may have figured that out. We have a Night Goblin War Boss too, which we'll take a look at. But anyway, Skarsnik, he's a halberd infantry, so that explains the anti-large. Anyway, let's pick our War Boss and then mouse back over Skarsnik. Take a look. So how's he going to compare to an Orc War Boss? He has quite a lot more health. He's less armored. Has better leadership, same speed, less melee attack, but remember that he imbues poison. So that's still going to be pretty nice. Melee defense, he has more than an Orc War Boss, and then his weapon strength is considerably less than a War Boss. But again, remember that he has the anti-large bonus, so it's 30 against large. And then let's look at one other thing too. When I look at his weapon strength, he's at 275 armor piercing, and then the standard War Boss is at 170. So Skarsnik is going to be interesting in the sense that he provides a pretty nasty little package here. So yeah, charge bonus of 52. Yeah, so interesting. So his charge bonus is a little less than a War Boss. So yeah, interesting unit, this Skarsnik. Let's take a look at his abilities. So standard ground, this one's definitely handy for Greenskins. It gives you extra leadership and melee defense. Wah, which is a must for Greenskins, all the extra melee attack. Spite of the Bad Moon affects allies in range, so it gives them an extra missile parry with shield and expert charge defense. That's pretty huge, and it lasts for quite a while too, so it could help you if you were coming up against a charge of a bunch of enemies. Alright, sorry about that. I had to go grab some water. So yeah, I don't really maybe remember where I left out with this guy. Oh yeah, we were looking at these down here. So, Spite of the Bad Mood's interesting. Pretty curious to see that one in use. So this one, Tricksy Traps. I like it. Goblin would be proud. So the duration's 29 seconds. Targets around self. Affects all allies in a 60-meter radius with extra speed, leadership, and charge bonus. So very nice. Skarsnik is loaded. And then his special ability here is a magic missile. Shoots shrapnel on impact. Powerful explosion. Effective at long range. Good versus multiple combatants. Weak versus multiple units? What? Strong versus multiple combatants and weak versus multiple units? That doesn't... I don't know. Tell me what I'm missing there. But sounds kind of confusing to me. Let's take a look at Skarsnik real quick on the battle map, so I'll see you there. Let's check out Skarsnik's Prodder. Prada. Made it sound like he bought some fancy women's clothing. Alright, let's check this out. What is this magic missile? Whoa! That was sweet! Holy crap. That did a lot of damage there. If you fire that thing off into the middle of a melee fight, like a big blob of enemies, I could see that being pretty brutal. And you got Skarsnik and Goblin here. Goblin is his squig. And interesting thing is they're definitely two like animated models here, but it just calls it one unit model here. I'm surprised that they didn't make that two in some ways. Let's see, I'm trying to let some of his abilities come into play here. Alright, so we got some of his abilities. I got him up against an Empire Captain. I took away the abilities from the Empire Captain just for the heck of it. So we could just watch Skarsnik. Let's use this Trixie Traps because it's going to speed him up. Takes the speed up to 44. Use Wah. Expert charge defense here won't matter because I'm not being charged. But could be useful if you wanted to cast that on units who are about to get hit by cavalry or flying units or something like that. It could be really useful. So you can see here, he's there's a lot of Empire Spearmen around as well, so they're also doing damage to him. So this isn't just like a straight fight, but even with the Empire Spearmen around, you can see that just he is easily beasting up this Empire Captain. Now, of course, I used Wah and all this other stuff, but still, easy defeat there. So there's a little bit of look, check it out. Goblin just got his dinner. That's right, Goblin. You eat those filthy humans. Gorbel would be proud. Anyway, there you go. There's a little Skarsnik and Goblin action for you. These two are definitely looking sweet. All right, next unit I want to take a look at is this De Warlord's Boys, which is a Night Goblins unit. And we'll also bring this De Eight Peaks Loonies, which is another Night Goblin, but it's a Night Goblin Fanatic. And supposedly you can target the Fanatics now. Let's check out the stuff down here. The Loons of Eight Peaks. Holy crap, these guys got a Vortex? That's cool. I don't know how good it'll be, but it causes armor-piercing damage. That's sweet, though. Man, that's really pretty neat. Let's see, so Armor Sundering. Let's see what Armor Sundering means. The armor-splitting attacks this unit can significantly weaken the target's armor. So it's not necessarily armor-piercing, its attacks weaken it. Stock means that they can move forward without being seen. They're shielded. Special range weapon, poison attack, stock. Now these guys do not have armor sundering. So stock, and it doesn't say armor sundering here though too. So maybe they do. We'll take a look. I just put like a regular Goblin Spearman here, and I'm gonna throw. Let's just. I mean, I don't think these guys are on the level with great swords, but maybe what I should do is just throw a couple of swordsmen out here for them to fight against. They probably outmatch swordsmen, of course, but you know, we'll just take a look, see how they do in that kind of. Well, actually, it's giving me a huge advantage here. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and put a greatsword. Greatsword should outperform these guys, but we'll just see how they perform in that scenario. So I'll see on the. Well, now it's skewed so heavily against me. All right, whatever. I want it to actually be a fight. So let's. I don't know. What would be a more likely? Halberds. Halberds are anti-armor. I don't know. Let's just throw a couple of swordsmen in there, and we'll call it even, so that we just have. Well, I'll throw something in here that costs more than they do. So we'll go with the halberds. There we go. 2 halberds. We'll fight against that. See you on the battle map. All right, I'm out here on the battle map. Let's see if we can make this the Loons of Eight Peaks. Oh, so it's not. It says it was a vortex spell, but it's not. Now, Creative Assembly said that you can target units, and we did. That's kind of weird, the way that targeting system works. That's honestly kind of really weird. Let's run back until I get a chance to use it again. That's not at all what I expected. I expected you to just be able to turn off a missile attack for them, and you could just, yeah, that's a really weird way to do that. Calling it a vortex spell like that. It lasts for 12 seconds. Interesting. We'll have to maybe dig into this some more sometime in a testing video. I won't dig at it too much right now. Okay, got these guys here. Okay, it says it's a vortex, but then it lines up like a breath here, which I didn't notice the first time. There we go. Let's give it a shot. Wow. Wow. So the devastation is real. Let's split up these two units so that hopefully we can lure one of these halberds into each fight. So that did a lot of damage with that ranged attack. The AI is being stupid here, not cooperating. But I never expected them to really cooperate. I just wanted you to see these units in combat more than anything, not necessarily this be like a defining test. Let's just look at them up close. There's the loons of the 8 peaks, and then here's the other one here. I can't remember their name at the moment. Yeah, lots of crazy night goblins, so if you're a big goblin fan, this is going to be the update for you. Yep, so these guys are, I mean, again, the test here isn't how well they perform against the halberds, it's more or less just for you to see them in combat. So that's the ability. Interesting way that you can target the fanatics now. That's actually better than it was and should make it quite a bit more useful. So I think the fanatics will be a lot more worth their weight now. Interesting. And of course these guys are just improved fanatics with some different abilities. That armor sundering. Let's take a look at that effect real quick too, because these guys are armor sundering right here. Yeah, look at that. The armor is gone on the halberd. You know, let's click on them. So yeah, it won't break it up for me or say exactly what it is, but you can see that their armor is completely gone. Wow. So it removes armor from an enemy while they're being attacked. That's kind of a big deal and gives the Greenskins an interesting tool. Let's check out some more units. The next units we're going to take a look at are the Crimson Killers. These guys are a fancy Black Orc unit, cost considerably more at 1,400. Let's compare them to a standard Black Orc unit real quick though. So I've got them selected. So a standard Black Orc unit has, okay, yeah, wow, that's interesting. So standard Black Orc has more health, but it has less leadership and less melee attack. And then let's see what the special abilities are. Wow, armor piercing. Okay, so armor piercing was there. Armor is there. Anti-infantry and armed to the teeth. These guys say anti-infantry, which means down here in their weapon strength. No? It says anti-infantry, but there's not. Advantage against targets that are smaller than a horse. Disadvantage can be a damage bonus against small targets, superior weight used to smash through their lighter enemies, or explosive attacks from range. So this means that probably these guys are really heavy. Maybe that's what's helping them. Wielding Evi Choppa in each hand, the Crimson Killers cleave through several foes with each. Oh, so they have an area of effect attack, it looks like, an AoE attack. Wow. Let's see how that pans out. I've got 2 units of great swords over here, and we're also going to test these Durusty Airs Night Goblin Archer. It's Vanguard deploy. Armor sundering arrows. That's wicked. Absolutely wicked. Missile, yeah, missile damage, armor sundering. Wow, their melee and the missile attack are both armor sundering, and it's poison. Holy moly. These guys are going to be really pulling down the stats of anybody they get a hold of, and has the stalk ability, which means it'll be hard to spot. See you on the battlefield. So here on the battlefield, you can see that the Durusty Airs are still invisible up until the point that they're about to start firing on the greatswords. Let's watch the impact here. 95 armor. Their armor sundering. So here comes the attack. Holy crap. Wow, that eats off like 32 armor? Holy moly. Wow. And then look at the damage they're doing in terms of hit points. Of course, greatswords don't have shields, but wow, that's still impressive. Let's bring in the Crimson Killers and let them do their thing. Let's watch the Crimson Killers at work. Wow, check it out, a heavy weapon in each hand. And these guys are tossing around the infantry all over. Interesting. Area of effect damage that they do. Let's see how the stats are stacked. Wow. Yeah, they are wrecking. Oh my gosh. Look at this. They're up against 2 great swords. Let's turn these guys around so that there's no support from the Goblin Archers and see how these guys do. They are racking up kills against overwhelming numbers. Wow. Let's check out these Night Goblin Archers, by the way. Those guys are looking pretty sweet. Now let's get an up-close look on this fight again. Those 2-handed heavy weapons, that's pretty slick. Not gonna lie, these guys are indeed armed to the teeth. And this to me is really cool in terms of like immersiveness for the Greenskins, right? Their whole deal is these giant, monstrous, wielding giant, ridiculous weapons. Like, I don't know, this really kind of matches them to me, and they are absolutely destroying their foes over here. Now, of course, remember, there's a little bit of support from the archers, but still an extremely impressive performance considering this is 45 units versus 180. So they were outnumbered 4-1 and easily pulled their weight through that fight. Not that their weight is anything small. Wow. Crimson killers, folks. Killers indeed. So we're going to take a look at a few of these cavalry units that came with the Greenskins that are going to be Regiments of Renown. So we have Moonhowlers, which is a Goblin Wolf Rider that is shielded and very fast. Vanguard deploy. Looks like it causes fear. Yeah, interesting. Causes fear. Let's compare it to a standard Wolf Rider, which should be right here. So it costs 200 gold more. Standard Wolf Rider is also shielded and very fast, but of course does not cause fear. And you can see that the Regiment of Renown version has 10 more leadership, 9 more attack, and 9 more defense, along with the fear. So pretty straightforward changes there, easy to understand. The Durkit's Squigs, which is the Night Goblin Squig Hopper Regiment of Renown. Let's take a look at it. Anti-infantry, Vanguard, Poison, and Scaly Skin. Scaly Skin, which gives them missile resistance. So let's check out how they compare to a standard Night Goblin Squig Hopper. So the Scaly Skin is different. So they're going to be more missile resistant. Otherwise, the base characteristics are similar in terms of their abilities. And then again, 10 more leadership, 9 more attack, 9 more defense. So let's take a look at the Broken Tusk Mob, which is Orc Boarboy Biggins, and let's compare them to the standard Orc Boarboy Biggins. First, let's look at the abilities. The Bigger and Ardor, we would expect that. Yeah, the Bigger and Ardor is the trait that gives them a bonus versus large. Well, I say that. The heaviest, strongest means Orc Biggins are able to prove it against enemies of all sizes. Okay, so Bigger and Ardor must mean they're good against both. So, interesting. And then they have an anti-large, of course, that it mentions on both. These ones are armor piercing, though, and armored. Wow, okay, no, okay, so I get it. It's an armored version of the Boarboy Biggins. Interesting. Armored version of the Boarboy Biggins. Let's compare the two. So, yeah, 35 more armor, and then again the same, 10 more leadership, 10 more attack, 10 more defense. Let's get a fair test on the Broken Tusk Mob, and then we might take a look at the other two units, because I don't think we can test all these at the same time. Let's get the Broken Tusk Mob, and let's throw them up against, say, like a Knights of the Blazing Sun or something like that, and see how that goes. So, yeah, and then maybe I'll test them against a Demigryph. All right, here is the Broken Tusk Mob. They do look pretty well armored. They got this big shoulder armor on there, looking pretty cool. Let's go up against the Knights of the Blazing Sun with the Blazing Sun in the background. Oh, how beautiful is that? All right, let's see how the Broken Tusk Mob does here. But let's first just take a look at these guys up close. Very cool looking units. Of course, Knights of the Blazing Sun's pretty sweet looking also. Broken Tusk Mob appears to be doing quite well off the charge. Now, remember, Knights of the Blazing Sun, although they have a very heavy charge, is not an anti-large unit per se. They do have flaming attacks, which is going to do more damage versus stuff that regenerates, but they do have a very heavy charge bonus, and they're quite well armored. But Broken Tusk Mob looks like they're going to easily make short work of a Knights of the Blazing Sun, which is a great trade for the Broken Tusk Mob. Let's try these guys against the Demigryphs. Alright, here we are on the battlefield. I must say that Creative Assembly should have made Wurzag's feet just keep going crazy. Even when he was on the back of the board, he should have been dancing, in my opinion. Alright, so I got the Broken Tusk Mob. I'm going to use Wurzag to kind of support him and maybe represent a theoretical possible scenario. I'm going to move Wurzag over here and bring him within support range. And I'm going to pause this real quick. There's a certain spell. Alright, let's go with like Fist of Gork. And then this cast will also activate an ability that Wurzag has that's going to give my guy some extra stats for 20 seconds after he casts. And I kind of wanted to see how all that plays out, you know. So can the Broken Tusk Mob, without like a damage, wow! Look at the stats on these guys. Of course, now the demigryphs are disengaging because the AI will sometimes do that with its shock cavalry, but still, that looked like it was going to be a pretty easy win. It is possible that the AI didn't charge me right there because they were distracted by Wurzag, but still, the fact that they were able to do that much damage that fast to a demigryph knight with a little bit of support from their lord is pretty impressive. Now, Wurzag is not cheap, folks. This guy is costly if you bring all of his stuff. But still, that was interesting. We'll test it more in the future. Just wanted to give you a quick look at these guys in combat. So we're going to be testing out these Night Goblin Squig Hoppers and the Wolf Rider, the Moon Howlers, in a role that might be familiar to them, which is anti-dwarf skirmishers. And dwarf skirmishers are notoriously fairly tough in combat. So I've got a Rangers with great weapons and a Quarrelers with great weapons. And I want to see how well these two special light cavalry do at running down these types of units. So here's the Quarrelers with great weapons fighting the Squig Hoppers, and then over here the Rangers with great weapons fighting the special Wolf Riders. And I just want to see, can these guys be effective at taking out these heavier skirmish units? Now, I'm sure they'll do fine against the lighter skirmish units, but what about the ones that are more melee-centric? And it looks like they're going to do just fine now. That wolf took a bit of a savaging there from the Rangers, but the Squig Hoppers easily mopping up the Quarrelers with great weapons. Now, not that I expect Quarrelers and Rangers with great weapons to be like crazy strong, but a typical just very light cavalry from the Greenskins can definitely get a little bit jacked up in combat versus these guys. So that's why I wanted to run that test with them. So both of them look like potentially useful units in that regard. Again, this is just a quick look though, so we'll see what else they might be good for. So some of the remaining units we haven't looked at yet is Mogrub's Mangi Marauders, which is a Goblin Wolf Archer. That's also a mouthful. Let's put them up here and compare them to the standard Wolf Rider. They're quite a bit more expensive. These guys say weak against armor and poor leadership while being very fast. These say that they're fast and they're actually armor-piercing missiles. That's a pretty big deal. And then let's take a look at their special stuff down here. So they can fire whilst moving, which is great. Immune to psychology, which I'm guessing standard Wolf Riders are not. They most certainly are not. So yeah, the immune to psychology thing there is pretty nice too, so they don't get scared away by a terror-inducing unit, maybe like a flying lord or flying monster that would be chasing them, making them potentially quite useful in that scenario. If we take a look at the Deaf Creepers, this is a special Goblin Spider Rider Archer. Poison, or here, let's compare them to the standard Spider Rider Archers. Poison attacks and weak against armor. These guys have poison attacks, but they regenerate, and they also have the stalk ability, which is going to let them get closer to units without being seen. There's their regeneration, makes them weaker to fire damage. Stalk, fire whilst moving. Strider, that's kind of cool. It means they don't get any combat penalties caused by terrain, so these guys are going to be fast across any terrain. So very cool features there, and I don't think that Strider... Yeah, Strider is also on the standard Spider Rider Archers. Good to know. Alright. Let's see, and then the last special unit down here is going to be this Thief Robbers Goblin Wolf Chariot. It's a missile chariot. I've never used the missile chariots before, and I just haven't been big on chariots in this game in general. Standard chariot's anti-infantry and very fast. You can see its stats there, just, you know, slightly less than the others, as expected. It's usually the special abilities that you're looking for. No crazy special abilities here, though. Anti-infantry, very fast. The only difference is this one can Vanguard deploy. So, I don't know. Let's take a look at how these guys have an impact maybe on a few dwarf infantry units just for fun. So let's see, armor piercing. So we'll get a couple of armored dwarfs and we'll just mess around with these guys. See out there in the battle. Or actually, you know what? What may be an interesting... These armor piercing ones, I want to try these guys against a heavy cavalry. These guys are pretty straightforward. It's just a poison attack. I'm probably not even going to mess with them. I might take them on the battlefield so you can see them, and then same thing with this. I'll take them so you can see them, but I'll really be testing this Morgrub's Mangi Marauders. All right, let's take a look at the Thief Robbers Wolf Chariot. It's a pretty cool looking unit. They got bows there. I don't think this unit's going to be anything crazy. It's just Vanguard deploy light chariot. Probably good in campaign early on for maybe getting into light infantry units and just being fast and annoying and being able to crash through lines. In terms of the Deaf Creepers, these guys have some pretty nasty looking spiders that they're mounted on, the Spider Riders, so yeah, pretty cool. Like I said, just pretty much a Spider Rider with Regenerate. Not a whole lot different with that. The interesting unit here to me is this Goblin Wolf Rider unit here. which is going to be the Mangi Marauders. Pretty interesting coloring on these guys. That kind of red-looking wolf there is pretty cool looking also. I don't know if that's the same on every unit, but these guys are going to have armor piercing, and they're going to be very quick. They can fire whilst moving, so I'm going to test them against a heavily armored cav unit and see how well they can damage it while skirmishing, because that potentially makes this unit quite effective. The range is only 100, so it's short range, but the fast speed here is speed at 92 versus the 66 on this heavy cavalry, and this is an armored and shielded cavalry. So I'm just going to stay ahead of these guys and skirmish them around a little bit and see what kind of damage we can rack up. I mean, it's not like ripping their unit apart after 1 or 2 volleys, but I mean, it's definitely significant damage. They're dropping unit models on it already to a decent degree, so I mean, this could potentially be a pretty important unit for the Greenskins if they're able to get out and cause a lot of damage to a unit like a Demigryph Knight. Now, Demigryph Knights are faster, and they're a little bit harder to stay in front of when they turn around and charge at you. So, see, like I'm having a hard time staying in front of these cavalry once they actually hit charge speed, but it can be done. Demigryph Knight, like I said, might be a little bit trickier. You might have to be a little bit more careful with your micro, but definitely looks like these guys have potential to be a huge nuisance. Definitely not infinite ammo on these guys by any means. They're already running about a little over halfway in their ammo. Get away from that. Should be able to beat these guys on charge speed. There we go. But yeah, I mean, you can see that they are fairly effective at skirmishing a heavily armored cavalry unit if you can get out and harass it enough. You're not going to be able to instantly kill it, but you're going to be able to cause key damage that could allow other units to defeat it later on in a more clean fashion. You can see here, though, my guys are tired already from skirmishing. The firing the missiles does make these guys tired. Just be aware that my speed will be suffering as a result, but definitely like this. Interesting unit, I think potentially useful here. Let's take a look at some of the last remaining units. Now these last 2 units should be interesting. We got the Arachnarok Queen, and she's going to be able to have some interesting abilities over a regular Arachnarok. Let's look at the stats first off. So she has more melee attack, more leadership, and more defense. And then special abilities. So the standard spider is armored, armor-piercing, poison attack. She's armored, armor-piercing, poison attacks. The big difference, I believe, with the Arachnarok, and let's just make sure I'm not missing anything. So the regular Arachnarok has Strider, Terror, Fear, and Siege Attacker. Here we have Maternal Instinct, so they can spawn a small unit of spiders. And we still got Strider and the other stuff. So basically this is an Arachnarok that can spawn units of spiders, which is going to be crazy. So slightly better stats, but it can spawn a small unit of spiders. Think about that. You could attack an infantry line, and typically what do people like to sit and do? They like to sit back while you're attacking their infantry line and shoot you with skirmishers. Well, you can raise up a unit of spiders right in the middle of their skirmishers. I'll demonstrate that when we go into combat. And then this other one here is the Hammer of Gork Goblin Rock Lobber. And let's take a look at the differences here. So armor-piercing missiles, and this one's the Great Green Wallop. Let's see what that means. I like it. As if smote by mighty Gork himself, this unit's projectile blinds its target on impact, reducing accuracy, melee attack, melee defense capabilities. Now, the interesting thing is how long that effect lasts. You can see it takes away 34 defense, 36 attack, and 40 accuracy. That's massive. Think about that firing at your opponent's skirmish units, and we will think about it. We're going to go test out these units. So let's take a look at the Hammer of Gork Rock Lobber here. It's a pretty sweet looking unit model. Let's watch it in action. We're going to start. I like that little touch there in the front of it. I don't know if that's the same as other Goblin Rock Lobbers. Alright, here it's going to fire. It is level 9, which means its accuracy should be quite good. You can see there the impact that it has on these units. Let's see how long it lasts. I've kind of just got my mouse over to see when it goes away. Surely it couldn't be permanent, like the poison attacks on Attila. Looks like it wears off before another shot comes in. So not a long-lasting effect, but if you hit a unit with it, I mean, that is just brutal. Look at the damage they did there. Let's go after these guys here. I'm going to take a shot at the handgunners. Yeah, that time no hits. Let's go ahead and drop this. And what I'm going to do is kind of demonstrate here. I'm going to take the Arachnarok Queen, and I'm going to attack her straight into these spearmen. and leave the gunners open to shoot me. And I'll kind of demonstrate the effectiveness of this maternal instinct where it can raid other fighters. Now, is it worth an extra 400 on an already expensive unit? I do not know. But the ability to do this nonsense, look at that. The gunners are shooting me, and they're like, oh yeah, we got her. Yeah, I just raised a unit of spiders behind you. So now I'm going to keep attacking the spearmen. I can go after this gunner over here because the spears are not going to be able to stop my mass as the spider, I don't think. And then look, the little spider unit I raised up is over here wrecking the other gunner unit. Whew, those spears are having a better time stopping my spider than I thought. Wow, look at that mass. I'm surprised I can pull it off. But yeah, you can see how useful that would be at keeping other missile units busy while the main Arachnarok spider was doing its work. I'm just gonna force my way through these spearmen. Yeah, the animation on the Arachnarok spider doesn't help it get through units quite as easy as, say, like Sartharel or whatever it is. But I mean, she definitely has mass if you use it right. Yeah, there you go. So that's the Arachnarok Queen. Man, even with the support of the spears, my spider hatchlings were able to get that handgunner off the battlefield. So again, potentially useful. Is it worth it? I don't know, but cool. Definitely interesting. So you got to see all the Greenskins Regiment of Renown. This would be a good place to end this video with this spider chewing up a bunch of Empire spearmen peasants. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll be back soon, not tonight, but soon with the video on all the dwarf units. We'll take a look at them. But since I did the dwarf campaign first, I decided to take a look at the Regiments of Renown from the Greenskins first. And we'll move on to the dwarfs next time. Hope you all enjoyed it. Really appreciate you coming to view. Just wanted to say thank you for all of those who subscribe and watch and comment, like, all the stuff you do for me. Really appreciate it. You're fantastic. Appreciate MSI for sponsoring the build that I'm recording this on. Hope you all enjoyed it. Leave me some comments. Tell me what else you want to see. HeirofCarthage, signing out.